Here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our bi-weekly Words to Film By. We got Rich Kotiri, the
Good morning.
writer-in-chief, and all things creative, and Scott, the tech god of guru-ness.
Oh, don't
Um,
use that word with me, please.
I'm gonna buy you a turban and
Little
put a dot on your
smallest
forehead.
G on the planet with that.
He came back from vacation all revved up, this
I'm
kid.
gonna
Oh
throw
yeah, I
up
got
my
a lot of
lightning
energy
rod on
now, and
that. Please
I'm
don't
not
freak
I'm
me
not
out.
that pale color of white, and I've got a little Greek tone back to my skin. Uh,
And he's Mike Malign.
yeah, I'm Mike Malai and Rich Kotiri and Scott Graham, and this is Words to Film By, and we're going to talk a little bit about uh, what we did, where we came from, and how we got here. So, Rich and I have been longtime writers. Going back, we actually met on the set of 61 through a mutual friend, and he was one of the iconic characters in that movie that talked about going after Mickey Mantle's record, and I was a sports photographer that was going from town to town. So we got
Mm.
to meet on set, and we've been friends and colleagues ever since. We've been writing together for, gosh, literally 25 years. I
Yeah,
mean, that's wild. This year it's 25 years. It's like
yeah.
our silver anniversary. We have made children, raised children.
Not together, but yeah.
Yeah. Between us, we got a baseball team. So, but we can second guess each other on our writing. We have became writers pre-AI, pre-digital. Both of us wrote while there were still typewriters. So Rich wrote for Saturday Night Live. I wrote, wrote sketch. He wrote sketch comedy. I've written everything from ads for the advertising world to skits and comedy bits for stand-up comics and screenplays together and on our own and books. So that being said, we also had our when we came up with our method, words to film by. It just was a natural progression, and we were teaching others over the years in workshops, classes, and online, offline. Before there was online,
Yeah.
um, we had taught our classes, and we came up with a simplistic way to teach others on how to write a screenplay. Um, so about a year and 3 months ago, Scott, a longtime old friend of ours, that we worked at an mobile entertainment company together that catered to the entertainment industry. We had worked together there, and Scott had reached out to me regarding AI. I had been playing a little bit around with it, not much. Some of the because I'm also a graphic artist, and I have been uh, bid out of my some of the graphics work I did for the ad world. So I learned to use a little bit of the starting things, and I played around with it. And then Scott reached out to me and said, "Hey, um, you know, your concept of screenwriting, I think I'd like to try to do something with that." And he has taken us from that point a year ago to today, where he has built an entire ecosystem around Rich and mine writings of words to film by, write like a creator, 7 stages of film
Filmmaking.
filmmaking, um, you know, and our other books and our other writings, and built an entire system, uh, and now trying to interject AI into it. So, Rich, anything to add to that?
Not really. That's pretty much where we're at right now. Scott's been working his butt off trying to integrate our work into our AIs, and he's been doing a fabulous job. And
Right.
Yeah, Scott, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, I think for me personally, I was using AI in enterprise level and software and that sort of thing. So for me, it's just like it's been around a long time, machine learning. It's just the AI stuff over the last couple of years, especially when I was at Deloitte, the Chat GBT came out. It was just much more accessible and quite honestly, quite smarter. We're going to talk about like these models and stuff today a little bit, but when I looked out at the world and I looked at the next probably say 10 years, 5 to 10 years, especially the 5 year window, I said I want to work on the hardest thing possible because I think that, you know, there's going to be a lot of change in the world. It's not going to be quite like everyone thinks. It never is, but the fact of the matter is a lot of things are going to change for sure. And I don't want to be in industries that are gonna just get completely wiped out. And you might say, well, it looks like AI is like everyone's talking about the death toll of all of this, and it's just not like. I mean, wow, that would be an interesting day that you can just write a prompt and just out comes a movie like for 60 minutes or something. I'm going to be curious to see that because I really don't think it's based around models and things like that. It's based around structures and frameworks and experience and abstract layers of understanding that when you look at these kinds of machines, they don't have this absolute curve of it does everything. It's more like Dr. Malik from that I follow. Everyone should follow Dr. Malik. Ethan Malik is his name for anything AI, but him and his crew there, I think he's at Wharton. Yeah, Wharton School of Business, is that there's a jagged edge of capabilities. Okay, it is not a perfect thing. And if you think AI is that, you're just misunderstanding it because it hasn't been explained to you. So that's partly why we wanted to do this today, is just kind of explain like what's going on here. When we say we're working on things, what does that mean? Well, we're looking at all this different technology and we're trying to figure it out ourselves, right? We don't want to build something that's going to get wiped out by something that's going to happen. We want to make sure we're building things that help our students and do something else, help us. We actually want to use our own technology to do, we have our own things, all right, guys? We have tons of things we want to work on. And so it's kind of finding that mix of what works and doesn't work and experimenting and looking at how people are approaching the technology over time and applying ourselves to this. And then what at the end, we just do a lot of experiments and, we talk amongst ourselves and we go inside of these different models and we say, this is working, that's not working, or whatever. And it's a 10-month ride, to get to today, to where we've said over the last pretty much, I'd say the last month, we've decided, okay, this is it. This is what we're going to put in a box and start delivering to the world. And then we're just wrapping. And we're actually going to be able to deliver it really quickly because we've been working on it so far, so long. So we have the proof of concept up and working. And we're going to show some of that today in a different environment. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we just want to make it so that you can have that collaborative experience that you might have if you had a partner that was writing with you for 25 years.
Right.
That did understand and anticipate your style and not overwrite you, but work with you, because not everyone's always available. First of all, not everyone wants to answer all your questions, no offense. And that's why you don't ask all the questions you might. But if you had unlimited access to the knowledge base that we do, and I've had access to over these many months, then you'll see that leveraging that plus your creativity, plus understanding how this stuff works, will give you a great advantage compared to other people out there who's going to do this. Look, the straight fact is, between the three of us, we're in probably 20 different private groups across all different things, from script writing to directors, and I'm on all kinds of technology stuff, and we compare notes. We know what's going on for real. We know what's not in the news too. And I can promise you this, the day that somebody finds something that's going to do that thing that you've been hearing about, they're not going to share it with you. I hate to break it to you. Okay. So you're going to have to learn how to do this stuff yourself. So let's dive into it. Really, at the end of the day, you'll be able to understand that you can apply this with any AI tool you use. whether it's our stuff or anyone else's. It's just always going to be the same principle the principles that we're talking about today. This isn't you're going to see engineering and software and this and it, and that is true. This is where I got that information from, is one of the groups I'm in, Indie Dev Dan, taught me these principles, and I agree. So we're going to talk about it. At the end of the day, it's context, model, and prompt. So LLMs in general have a lot of knowledge. They know about story writing. Of course, if you say three act structure, they know that. It's just because it's part of the zeitgeist. I mean, since Aristotle, we've had storytelling. But what it doesn't know is specific knowledge or specific kinds of methodologies to a perfect T if it hasn't been trained on that data. And then when we have folks like, a lot of the business of filmmaking, all the data is siloed. It's that is the IP of whoever it is. So no one's going to go and let you look at their stuff like that. Same with these guys. The copyrighted stuff that I'm working with it's not ever going to be on the internet like that. It's only going to be as a context that you can leverage to use your work, because once it's on the internet, well, it's a copyright thing, right? You're getting, 25 times 2 plus all the experience of how to have the right context. So only thing then we need to help you understand is how to create the right prompt and the right model. And the context also is the story that you're working on. But see, if you just follow the book, and really at the end of the day, our system is going to let you either just follow along and just we're going to prompt you like you would as if you were using the book, or it'll really help you at a deeper level as if you're being tutored, or it can just be completely hands off and it's only just going to be to just critique or say, you're have some kind of issue here that maybe you want to think about. So it's up to you. Or you can just take our information through an MCP server and you can use any AI tool on the internet. And we're going to show you how to do that too. But the prompts can be very, very complex now, where they weren't not that long ago. And it's really a key point to understand, is that we've moved into a different era. And I'm not going to deep dive on this technical stuff. The one thing you just have to understand is the hockey stick. And that's that we now can put in a small amount of inputs and get a huge amount of outputs or results if and only if our models have this Goldilocks zone of understanding of what you're trying to do. And if you can accomplish that, then you can leverage your time and your effort and accomplish a lot of things at once as a draft or as a layout that it would take maybe who knows how many people, right? I mean, it takes hundreds of people to make a movie, right, guys? I mean, but
Oh,
so
absolutely.
we are talking about giving access to individuals and small crews and independents the ability to leverage out and do a lot of things behind the scenes that admin wise is very, very difficult. Okay. And it takes a lot of time and money to make these things. And I found that out. But for example, we we've been working on how to extract all of these techniques and then make sure that we're following it. It really always comes down to the 12 steps, right, guys?
Yeah.
So before this is the ultimate experiment to before we launch and add all these kinds of things in, is like just been taking different characters and stories and really starting from scratch and just following the methodology of how we would want people to leverage all of our context with the right prompts. And I'm using the best models for the current job. I'm using OpenAI, but I have a model that has full context of words to film by and has actually been working with me for the last 10 months on this project. So the context is a very wide and deep thing. We're going to take that and stuff it into, something else that's accessible to you. It actually looks exactly like this. It's an open source thing called OpenAI, Open Web AI, but we're able to customize it exactly the same way. So it's just a wrapper right now. You'll see more of it in the future. But at the end of the day, Oh, sorry. Here we are. All right, here we are. We're just learning how to leverage our time so that we still are collaborating, but we're just able to iterate so many more different ideas and look at them and say yes, yes, no, yes, and then think. And then you just come to the aha moment a bit quicker is what's happening. And that's what we're finding. It's not that you're not going to stop writing, because actually all the best bits that are in here are completely my own. They're not the AI's. And the AI recognizes that and says, well, you created this tagline, and that I can take. And now I can iterate on that with you. And like, yeah, that's totally your thing. But yeah, that makes sense. And then start mapping out worlds so much faster because you're able to go through and think about these different things. And then sometimes it comes out to be more than, what I want. I don't really want a world this quite big right now, but what a great starting place to then start editing down and thinking about it and getting these kind of how they say, the bones in place so we can start hanging things on it. It's always been the premise of the books anyway. But now we're like able to just leverage this technology and kind of go through this really, really quickly. And then where it really gets exciting is the business part of show business. And I think that you guys stress this a lot, that you have to
Mhm.
understand the context of what you're doing as a living is the same as, any other artist, that if you're gonna do, you have to get paid for your work, or
Yep.
your kids are not going to eat. Okay. And I mean, it's as simple as that. So you have to understand the context of what your IP strategy might be with any kind of thing, how you're going to pitch that, what kind of relationships you're going to need to even think about. Because sometimes
Mhm.
it's going to go outside of your expertise, and you may need to ask a subject matter expert to come and work with you on your property. And that's why there's collaboration and teams that work on this stuff, is everyone brings something to the table. For us, the three of us, we everything we work on it completely collaboratively. So it's easy for us to think about it. But you need to think about how you're going to collaborate or not collaborate or whatever. It's better to have collaborators, okay, guys, because no matter what happens with these outputs, you still need to put it through the lens of experience. But if you do that, using these new tools, especially like the new open AI stuff, it's melting the internet for a reason. Because I can just come in and just, I just left this here because it just shows, like, some things that it's doing. We already know, we've already spent a deep dive in it last week. Oh, of course it, mixes me. But being able to, create model sheets of characters. Of course, this is an enhancement tool of Kriya, but you can see how we're able to go very quickly and iterate through characters, um, think about like what's working, what's not, motivations, and then start bringing things into color. And I hate to tell you, but I don't even know how to draw a stick figure properly.
On the other hand, have had, training, and I do that. And the hours, the literal hours that it
Hours.
takes to just do a test character. I mean, just getting it down to that, hey, okay, let's go. It's, to get to that point, it's days, but like just sketching panel by panel by panel, even digitally, is hours. And this was done in a very short amount of time.
And I think, here, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I think that if you go back and you think about the first time you did a series Bible and we were working on it together, is actually for something you've been putting forward,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
And the difference between then and now, is I'm going to ask you what your thoughts are.
it's like night and day. Just trying to get away from distortions, six toes, 10, 12, 14 fingers.
Even there, the sidewalks moving and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
But
still not
even
even
that,
there.
And even that, it's still better than what it was. I mean, you have a moving sidewalk, that might be a style that you kind of want because it's just a visual, you
Who
know.
knows? But you know, the one thing hasn't changed no matter what all these models. I'm trying, I hope you're going to hit it on there. There's one thing that didn't change. Through all these models changing, what is it? You still have to have a flippant story,
Yeah,
guys.
you have to have
It's
story.
going to be worth
Stories
something
everything.
for people to hit with, and
Stories
even
everything.
more so now you got to think about it because all these people have these access to these tools. It's kind of like thinking about it when everyone got a camera back in the day. Okay. So there's gonna be film and content everywhere. And then you have to ask yourself, well, how do you separate yourself out from the pack? Well, it's not just the story. You can have the best damn story on the planet, but if no one knows about it, or you don't have a plan when they do find out about it,
Right.
we just talked about that, hey, what do you do if you then are you the dog that caught the truck because you are in the room now and you're pitching and you don't know what to do? They're going to sniff you out, guys. You got to be ready for the moment where you say, yes, I have an actual IP package for everything I want to do, from the plush toy for the crumbly all the way through to the spin-offs, to creative
Merchandise, everything.
stuff. And
Yeah.
they want to hear that you are a creator that's not going to create just the story, but you're going to create a universe that they can get behind and they're like, oh my God, you build a whole ecosystem for me already. I don't have to prod like build me a toy. And by the way, these things build toys. So there's no reason not to build out what this looks like and put it into your packages now and sell it like that. And that's, I think, what we're going to prove over the next couple of months is that the principles didn't change. Portfolios didn't change. Pitching didn't change. Money didn't change yet. You're just going to have more access to it. And hopefully we can help on those things. But none of those principles out of the 12, I did not skip a step.
Right.
And but then I brought my results to my teacher, and I'm not, Rich, obviously I'm doing a lot closer with Mike on this drawing and stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know, teach, what do you think?
I think it's as I become older and more arthritic, I don't draw as fast as I did, but still production artists, the amount of Rich and I have worked for animation companies, and this is a game changer. Especially from concept, from your idea and your concept and putting it together. We're working on a project for a group that's presenting to a streaming service, and so that was gosh, probably 12 months ago.
Mhm.
And let's see if I can share this just to show you. So like I sketch, I draw, I still use paint, both digital and real, both toxic and not. But let's see here if I can show
I don't think you
this.
can. Oh, you can share.
So like
There
here
we go.
here's a
Beautiful.
little bit without revealing too much. This was like 8 months ago. Um,
Hmm.
and it was a struggle to get it to keep consistent in the characters
And
and in the
all those.
styles. And as you could see
Awesome.
there,
Yeah.
oh, why is that doing that? Okay, here we go. Just showing that this was my big breakthrough on this one. I don't know if I can zoom in on this. Let's take a look here if I can. I just wanted to show this was my breakthrough moment, which I
Okay.
thought was great. Uh, there was a little thing, and I prompted and prompted and prompted so much to get to that point. I could not have drawn this in the time that I did that, but the teardrop
Yeah, it's
in
great,
her
man.
eye
Yeah.
is what made, look at this.
Hmm.
I mean, what made it real to me.
That's great.
With
I
the
said,
with the lamp diffusion though, because you said that
yes.
effect you had to normally ask for, if I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
So I created works with airbrush on crescent board. You start with a sketch, you maybe have a photo reference, but the hours that
Oh,
this takes, even digitally, to create this. And all it is, this is not going to be our final image. This is not going to customers. This is not going to the end user. This was going to finance people, producers, directors, that to show her sense, this mother in this story, her feeling, not using a specific actor, but this is the type of person, and using that reference, saying, "Hey, I want to create this feel
mm,
for that person that's going to read this story." And some of Rich and I's older projects, we're pulling them all out, redoing them, creating pitch decks. This is for the pitch deck. Um, a lot of times you create a lookbook where it says, "Hey, you're using these A-list actors to show them, hey, this is the kind of person we'd like to get them, but this is the kind of person we're looking for." This way, it's like, yeah, we can put our wish list in there for the actors that we want, but this is the type of person I'm looking for. I was
Right.
able to describe to the AI the mom's tensions and fears. The prompt was, the culmination of maybe 30, 40 prompts by the time I got to this point. But it became easier. Now it's a lot easier to prompt to get to where you want. You can also give a reference photo, say somebody like this, not this person,
Which is a big
somebody like
breakthrough.
this.
Mhm.
I don't want to reference any actual person out there because I don't want to. We're big about copyright and using other people's property, So it created this mom from nothing. Now casting would say, "Hey, we're looking for a mom like this." So just everything about it, her
mm,
ring, her reflection in her eyes of the lamp. On the one image that we had, I had to change this character off to the left. He was different before, and had to bring a new character in, and it was able to match it up. So she didn't change. I went back onto an old image, and that was 8 months difference between that. The feeling of these characters that were in there, just it got it. It got it. And to sit there and do pencil sketches, then renderings, and then even going photographing people that look that way. You know, the hours involved. It's reduced. Hey, I want this guy to look back at the camera, look back at the viewer. And it did it. I had him look back towards me.
And yeah, and it's gone way more sophisticated than that now. We've
Yeah,
got
and
camera motions and I mean the point too is to understand is that this kind of work you have to like know that when you're pitching professionally, I mean you're showing a lot, Mike, but
yeah, I'm okay on that. There was no bad
you
stuff.
know that
Well,
the truth is they want to know that you have your stuff together and understand what it is, not just from the all of this character stuff, but that why it's important to the whole success of a project as a whole. Because you're selling, it's not, and I'm the new guy here. I'm learning, but I can see that that's, you know, if you don't have Mike's skills, you're not going to be able to do that stuff until now. But then now you have to learn what Mike knows in order to like put those kinds of things together. And I think that's a gap that people are just like missing when it comes to just shooting at these AIs, no matter what tools you're using, going out there and just doing it without kind of a plan and an understanding or a framework, or and it's certainly not the, just the generalized chat GPT or things, even, specialized GPTs, you don't know what's under the hood. It's better to understand the materials that actually you're using and understand the techniques in real life, and then have AI that is going to augment your work, at least from our point of view, is the way it kind of has landed. Because now you have an AI collaborator kind of sitting at a round table, not pushing around. Bias is a big issue in things. We got some things that we want to work on to make things easier for artists to deal with, just because we're solving our own problems, I guess is the best way to say it. So we got our own things we're trying to solve for, and by doing that, solving these problems for ourselves, it's solving the problems for everyone
To,
else.
to steal Rich's line, hey, I don't care how long we've been doing this, we were always learning, you know, and Rich, one thing to say about him, it's like, we're we're sponges. We absorb, we react, we, you know, have output. We add our own 2 cents in always, but Rich being an accomplished director, he knows what he wants to see. So that is the first thing as a writer. Hey, what do you? Yes, you have an AI, but what do you want? It's like, here, I'm a genie. Tell me what you want. You've got your
And be
wishes and
careful
your
what you wish for, because you're going to get all over the map, right? And it's just kind of
being
steering
able to
that is
articulate
not
what you
easy,
want is so important. I mean,
Yeah.
Rich being the accomplished director that he is, he knows how to direct film, he knows how to direct television. He understands that. So being able to tell, hey, when we're writing, this is how I see the scene. I mean, for me as a like my whole life I've been an artist. I can see things in cartoon form. I can't draw them as fast as I can see them. you know, so
Well,
as an illustrated thing, this is the closest thing to it. And
well,
being
there's
able to
there's
have
a
the tools
yeah,
here, words to film by to do that is pretty amazing.
there's a fundamental principle in words of film by that you got to think about the business. You got to think of like a producer and a director at times, and you got to understand their point of view. And this just gives you the tools to help in that area. I think that where like if you're creative, sometimes you just don't know all the ins and outs of business stuff, and you don't have to. That's why we always say get good agents and good manager, good people in your life that understand and take care of it, because it is a business. It's not, we keep stressing that it's just going to be much more competitive business now than ever. So all these principles matter even more. How is your content going to rise above others? We're going to give you all the principles for free that we can, but at some point you're going to have to come in and start like getting serious about what we're doing for our stuff to get stuff produced, because we're getting stuff across the line. So, and it's the business, it gets produced or doesn't get produced. That's not the point. When you've got people walking it through the door, that's a 10-month process, folks.
40-year process.
Yeah,
A
for
10-year, and that, those kind of things we're working on. That's a money thing.
Yep.
It's a money thing and it's an attention thing. So, we're working on how do you get this stuff out there? How do you market your stuff? That we're doing it for ourselves. So, but we're going to work on it in such a way that you can work with us. And I think that's really the biggest breakthrough we've had, is that we're not going to just teach anymore. We're going to like do, and you're going to have properties to work on with us. And they for us, it's not throwaway, it's our business, but you're going to work on it. And if you make the cut, you make the cut. We know how you make the cut, you make money.
Right.
So if you can't make money with us, then you can't make money anywhere in the business, because we're going to show you everything how to do it. But that's
Yeah.
for more. And I'm just throwing this in this video because I can cut it out, because I am. But I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be fun. So anyway, anything final thoughts, guys? I mean, it's been a long ride, right? It's been on 10 months. We had some setbacks, but it's all been for the good, I think. And I think we've kind of settled on something that really makes a lot of sense for even us ourselves, I think.
For even us. For even us.
what's that?
Yeah. Scott said, for even us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I yesterday, what was that? Like a 5 hour session, Scott?
Thanks.
It's 6. I
To describe 72 hours of work, though.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was when I seen the flow, and I can't wait, for Rich to see that, but he understands it. I that flow, that process, watching it happen, how it happened. Um, wow, you know, and um, just remember, as writers, you know, even though we still write full scripts and full, everything on pretty much on our own. This opens the door to so much, and the collaborative nature of it is just amazing. It helps you see past the curtain, stuff that you're not there. These new models are just so deep thinking, that you are getting the collaborator, the co-producer, the showrunner that is in you, pulling it out and taking it to that next level. I mean, I just it's like none of us have that amount of energy to keep it going and say, "Hey, I like this idea. Hey, you just saw something I didn't see. Cool. No, I don't like what you just suggested. I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. Okay, here's the reasons why I'm going this way, and I need you to follow me."
Sure.
Which goes right into the whole new thing with copyright law, which is exciting. It's like, hey, I'm the seed, that's the plant. You know, I created this idea. This is my idea. This is where I had AI come in and help. It's copyrightable because it's still the seed is my idea, my work, my
It's a very big deal.
it
And
is.
we're
That's
going through it
huge.
right now with our own stuff that's original written. Okay. And they're just like, we don't know. So look, we're solving our own problems for you at the end of the day because we have copy. I mean, my first copyright is not going through because of this, because nothing other than how editing is done. It's not, it's all original, but we're solving those problems for ourselves so we can solve them for everyone else. And that's really the bottom line. And at the end of the day, everyone's just going to be expected. Only thing that's going to happen with all of this is you're just going to be held to a higher standard when you walk through that door to pitch. They're going to expect a lot more out of people. Like you better really have your stuff together now more than ever. Not this, I don't know what I'm doing stuff. And if you don't know, if you really want to get out there, you're going to have to come and learn some things and just leverage the tools. I think is really, it's not even
Well,
like
that's what
learning from
that's
us. It's like leverage the right tools. I think that's really the end of the day.
that's
Understanding
what's gonna
context,
that's what's gonna
prompt, and
set.
model is changes your creative output is what it comes down to.
That's
What
what's
you
gonna separate
do.
us from other people.
Correct. We're just getting much more done, and we got what would take maybe 2 weeks for us 2 months 3 months ago. We got done in one day.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, that's
And it's like
a long day, but one day.
we're also
Thank you, guys.
in,
Yeah.
in this process writing for a completely new market. I had posted something up um,
I think Richard.
on school, with a thing that someone had referenced on Instagram. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but it's basically how the younger generation now too, it's you're vying for their attention. You're really vying for their attention because hey, streaming is not going to be the same. Just like television isn't the same. All those models changed. Bottom line is you're writing for trending, you're writing for interest, you're writing for genre, you're writing for those same markets as you did before, but it's changed. There's a big segment that wants specifically instant gratification. I want to hear a story, or I want to be fully immersive with a story. There's so much coming. There's so much and even in the gaming world, people that never gamed, things are being gamified. I think that was Scott's word, uh, gamification. To things.
Fun. It's fun to create, especially when you remove all the barriers. But I think we got to wrap it up there. Pretty close. Any final thoughts?
Yeah.
It's
It's a wild, weird world. I mean, I'm coming in from completely different planet from these guys. Yeah, I did some acting and stuff for fun over in Korea and stuff. I'm not a professional like these guys. So it's a totally different world for me. And just seeing what's there and all these different tools and things, it's gonna be overwhelming. But really, at the end of the day, just understand that all they are just different pencils and pens and cameras and none of that changed. What changed, the only thing that changed is that the tools you're going to use are just different now. But all the principles are the same to get the winner. That's it.
the storytellers haven't changed since standing around the campfire as a caveman. Ugh.
But you can't get an advantage by working with people that understand the context and how these technologies works and how to leverage them. And that is a difference.
Yes.
All right.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
Well, hey, thank you very much, everybody. I think this was good. I enjoyed it.
A little
So
long.
we will see you on Thursday.
Tuesday, but
What?
yes.
Wait,
Oh, I'm
today's
sorry, Tuesday. I'm already ahead of myself.
All right.